But they played Ancient and Mirage. They picked into Ancient. They fared pretty well, but I think that was a matchup they were always kind of going to fare well. So if I'm not mistaken, they picked Ancient going into this one once again. But with that in mind, we're going live. You were saying it's single elimination. The road to qualifying for ESL Pro League Season 22 is long, it's windy, it's narrow, but it all starts here.
Exactly. The narrow path is the best path, I believe. Anyway, it's just Unsettled Resentment taking early control. Laneway now filtering on into mid. It's either going to be a bust through mid connector or straight into Donut here and into this A side. Nice and easy as you go. It's kind of hard to do without your head, but they do manage to soldier on through. I actually thought they would have done a little bit more damage than first suspected, but utility on for the retake is quite scarce. However, Victoria Sumus are going to filter on it.
Yeah, there's no kit, but these flashbangs, they are giving the CT side quite a lot of space to work with. These kills, they do need to come in quite quickly. And right now, Unsettled Resent are just doing very well at biding their time. They did take those original engagements. And you know what? To be fair to them, they didn't go too well, so they started to back off. They started to play the primary zones of Donut and A main. And then, as I mentioned, no kit, so we kind of get to this stage where it's that deadlock of there's no time to defuse the bomb and the T side just simply survive.
That's it. They do enough. They do the dance for long enough, and I don't know. It's always tough when you're quite limited with util on the retake. That's the nature of pistol rounds too for the CT side. So nice and strong buy coming through for Unsettled Resentment. Mac 10's on point. Look at them to be quite dangerous. Just a momentary pause coming through too. So I feel as though we might have a bit of downtime here. Obviously too early to tell how these two teams are shaping up, but I mean, it's safe to say that both of these two teams, they have to meet in the middle of where they play, like location-wise in the server. So I mean, I do expect some routing issues and things like that from time to time.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't even think about this to be like an issue. Obviously, you're much more well versed in this kind of conundrum because the worst we have is like the odd team from like Kazakhstan or something like that, or Kyrgyzstan sometimes play in Europe, and that'd be pretty meaty. But Russian servers in EU actually get split up from the rest of, like the Far East gets split up from the rest of Europe. So I guess we're living in luxury compared to you guys who just have to make do.
Yeah, it's the nature of the beast, isn't it? I think you said it before. Geographically challenged is probably the best way to put it. But I don't know, as a region, right? Like I think people have slept on Asia for quite a long time. I think everybody in the region is kind of like living off that Mongols major hype, that dream. Hopefully
And it's a good dream to live up of. Like I respect it. If that's the dream you're living off, then hey, at least it is a dream. And for now, the T side, they are walking into only a two-man setup on the B bomb site. There were previously a lot of numbers here, but Victoria Sumus actually had rotated them away. And so this execute, despite it having gone straight through the ramp smoke, actually works out pretty easily against this force spy.
Yeah, just looking to save armor and what they can into the next round. There's no prospects of a serious retake on here. And, living in this economy, it's not cheap being a CT best of the time. So there is, though, Akari just going to be cutting the map. He could be proving to be quite thorn in the side. They're going to be in the fight of their lives here in a second.
Well, at least no one saves for the CT side. So Also, I wouldn't get to watch much of like this kind of this level of Chinese Counter-Strike, right? But
Yeah.
one thing that I'm intrigued to see if still the same, because this is a bit of a tidbit of knowledge coming from quite a while ago. So, I don't know if you remember when last year, or was it 2 years ago now, like some European players went over to China and played. It was like 3 Chinese players and then 2 Europeans. So you had like Emmy with Tai Lu, Wings Up, you had Kriaz and Blogus, and then Rare Atom was Fuzi and Corey. So I'd know a few of them quite well. And the one thing they were saying to me that was like a very defining factor of Chinese Counter-Strike was just like, people don't stop moving. And so far, I'm not gonna lie, I've watched this T side and I don't think I've seen anyone stop.
No. No,
And
exactly.
I know it's only 2 rounds though. It's only 2 rounds. But I'm just saying.
That would have been the era of like Letney or something like that, coaching.
Letney, there you go. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that actually. Yeah,
None of them worked.
no, difference in philosophy.
Not a
is-
single one.
I think it's just it's like it's a bit of shell shock, right? I think when you first sort of get exposed to this sort of hyper aggressive, foot to the floor, finger to the W, full send Counter-Strike. That it just for a long time it's kind of been like that, right? Like aggressive force buys. Even if you go back into like the 1.6 series, not necessarily. I don't know. Like there actually were Tyloo teams of old. We're talking like they had Tyloo GM and Tyloo CN. Had in 1.6 they were forcing Galil force buy metas, and that's just unheard of in 1.6, right? Like force buying just wasn't sort of heavily accepted as it is now. So even back then, like Chinese Counter-Strike was just hyper aggressive, wanted as many gun rounds as possible. So I think it's actually more of a cultural approach to Counter-Strike.
You're the wealth of knowledge. Because you got the history books on me that I don't.
That's a bit of a time warp, that one.
Yeah. But this is an interesting round because obviously it's the first gun round. And so far, Untitled Resents are looking like they're in a very good position. Revan with the AWP does equalize things, and unfortunately, a Fufu in this aggressive position towards Red Room has kind of lost his timing. He was in a really nice spot 30 seconds ago because he'd slipped the net. But now he's joining up with the rest of his teammates, and they're heading towards this A bomb site, but there's 2 defenders. Razor, I was going to say, gets baited in. He doesn't, not even baited in. They just didn't even clear him. They didn't even remotely check towards him. And Victorious Sumus, in a round that I don't think starts off any way what in their favor, ends up going in their way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things, right? Like sometimes you feel as though you have less time than you actually do to check and clear the site. And they made that fatal error. And it really has Unsettled Resentment unstuck in that round. That being said though, another gun round here to try and get themselves at least to continue the stretch of rounds that they've had. Respect for the left-handed models. I know we waited long enough for those to come into CS2. But
Quality of life since has been significantly better.
100%. That smoke is just unstuck. Unsettled Resentment. They really struggled to get past it, and now they're actually going to pull the plug on this A hit.
Just look how fast, though, they then move into the next kind of area of attack. Like, they instantly pull the plug, and within 10 seconds are already taking jewels towards middle. This could be a very difficult round for Victorious Summers to deal with if they didn't have these advantages. But because they're sitting in a 5 versus 3, it feels like it's going to be able to be dealt with very easily, and they're just crunching towards middle. Madness boosted up with the AWP. They are getting some kills, and it will ultimately trickle down to a 1 versus 2. Bomb is on his back. And this has come out surprisingly quite fruitful for them.
Yeah, I'm just looking too, though. He's only got a flash to sort of secure either the plant or the post plant. So he's got to firstly just win that duel. Raven, just ready for it. Revan, should I say? It's Revan the engine in B.
Not even gonna started it and was like not even gonna try actually. Gonna rein that one back in.
That's it. Self-checking.
Yeah, gotta be aware sometimes of my limits.
Slight pause here, though. I would suspect this will give the team just some time to just chill out. Maybe even, it depends how long this goes, it could break some potential, swing and momentum. We're only in the really early stages of the match, so I don't think any momentum has been established yet. But, yeah, unsettled resentment, lack of bomb plants has really come back to bite them in those past 2 rounds.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look actually of the next step in this qualifier, and to actually break down this qualifier for ladies and gentlemen, like this is a beastie qualifier. So basically, this is the lowest round.
Yeah.
So the 4 open qualifier teams and then the 4 lowest ranked VRS teams have all been invited to this single elimination bracket round 1. If you win this, you then go play against round 2, which is effectively playing against the high seeded team. So whoever wins this matchup plays up against the Huns, which is actually a very difficult opponent. That's a team that's like properly contending for getting out of the region type level, right? Like this is a team that is actually, kind of had that really big failure, I think, in qualifying for the major. But outside of that, are a team that are aiming for quite high goals. So whoever wins this, it's like going from the belly from the frying pan to the fire. The fire into frying pan?
Yeah, look, it's not a fun leap either way, is it?
No.
From one to the other, either way, you're going to be under the pump. So rough journey for whoever is trying to make it. Ember just trying to make a bit of extra cash. So MP9 looking to sing. Clouder though, it's not clear this angle could be caught out. So they're going to just try and muscle their way through. Super aggressive CT setup.
Against an eco, I kind of rate it, you know?
Oh yeah, sets the tone.
So, yeah, like this is how we are playing. But it's also interesting in itself to see that Victorious Summers are the only Indian team actually in this qualifier. Alter Ego does have an Indian player in Finn, but it is, I don't know, it's quite interesting to see this is the only Indian team, because I feel like the general narrative for Victorious Summers is that they do very well regionally. They make it far in tournaments, but they're bottlers. They always get into like kind of top 4 or the grand finals of these either LAN or online events that are hosted quite frequently in India, losing to the likes of God Rain very frequently, or even just someone else. Sorry, what just happened? Speaking about madness, living up to his name. What?
That really was the, I don't know, just a jolt of lightning out of nowhere, right? Like dry lightning. There's nothing happening in that round. No clouds were building. And he just managed to double collat. Nice.
But you don't see that every day with the Eagle.
No. Ultimately, I mean, it could prove consequential. He's, you know...
That's a lot of damage.
It's a lot of economic damage.
And also, he did great damage in the previous round as well when they're on the rifles. So, Unsettled Resentment are genuinely in a position where, okay, sure, they're coming off the back of an eco, but their oppositions haven't built up that bank balance. And already you can see the T-side are pestering towards middle. But Revan with his AWP is still posted on a very aggressive angle.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. The repercussions are they went from having 4v1 to a 2v1, having 4 players save weapons over. Yeah, that scenario will play out in future rounds. I've got no doubt. But yeah, with the player advantage wiped away now, it's interesting to see how Victoria Sumus actually adjust here. They're going to give up control of A and just try and play for the retake there, I'd say. But a few tells now actually might allow them to rotate into position early on.
It's confirmation the bomb's going down. Post plants aren't established for UR. Revan's done well at surviving. I was very scared with that AWP in Temple that he was going to get a little bit over aggressive and give away the 4 versus 4. He's actually got the right idea as well. This smoke should be fading any moment now. And Akari's just sitting inside of it. Oh no! Revan burst open the smoke, hasn't seen the player on the other side, so he's going to be caught lacking. And with that, everything actually just comes tumbling down. This is very reminiscent of the pistol round retake.
Yeah, things sort of not really falling the way of Victoria. It felt as though they had the right idea. But that being said, though, there were quite a few moving pieces in that puzzle. And I don't know. It's kind of hard to filter out of Temple like that when you've got a great idea of where you're going to be coming from anyway, and then sort of resentment. They kind of had all bases covered in both players, despite having to make those adjustments after the bomb plan went down. They have tried to force the issue though. Victoria Sumus just buying in. So hoping to pick up something out of this round. The longer this round goes, though, if they start to bleed through utility, it will be a difficult job for them. Unsettled Resentment are quite happy to take their time, though.
First time we've seen them not just barge in somewhere. But now, I've got a feeling they're going to be forced to get going. That's a very chunky nade from Razor. And it's all, no, this is going wrong. The T side are coming out onto the A bomb site, and every single player's here. The Indian squad, you're no idea where to look, and it's also cautious from behind because their mid prong's been executed. So they're just stuck between a rock and a hard place, and it feels like this force buy was exactly what the doctor ordered for Victoria Summers. And they're actually primed to be keeping potentially 5 players alive.
Yeah. Great work by Razor there as well, just making sure he didn't over-peak, didn't overextend. His presence alone just keeping Unsettled Resentment from trying to fully enter that site. They had just far too many crossfires to dismantle at that point. Are you aware of Ember? Yes, but a little bit of damage done.
Are they going? No, okay, they're saving, yeah. I was like, are they going to try and attempt this round?
Surely not. They're about, I'd say, 10 seconds too short. Yeah.
That's an ambitious spray. That's a 1.6 spray right there. Was it 1.6 where you could just wallbang everything?
Yeah, pretty much. You could even do damage with grenades through the wall.
There you go. See, I may be a little fledgling, but I know my history.
Yeah, it certainly made cheating encounters interesting.
Exciting. Yeah. Exciting. But that's a round that seriously rocks the boat early doors. I mean, this has been a very close game. Can't complain. Set round though, coming out from the T side, and Benzim, he got the opening kill on the previous round, but he was only rewarded with a Mac 10. And unfortunately, that SMG is not going to quite cut it close range on ramp. Even though there was a Molotov down, Unsettled Resentment are able to now barge their way onto the B bomb site. Bomb planted, Ember. He was itching to get going there, itching to just come through that smoke. Doesn't. And Twinkie's been caught on a crazy timing. Oh no, he's heard him. Okay, so Twinkie's just won this round outright. Behind 2 in caves. Actually misses 1. Ember is able to get a kill because of that. Zaya falls, so now Twinkie, who I thought had the round in the palm of his hand, has to try and clutch up. There's a kit on Razor. He's going for the kill though. He'll drop it, but then it's Revan to clutch up the 1 versus 1. Kit collected. There's just enough time for the defuse.
Yeah, that was scrappy. That round had so many twists and turns to it. Just when you think Unsettled Resentment have done enough to hold on to it, Victoria Sumus just pick up 3 kills, and suddenly it's it's on. I actually thought there was a moment there, right at the very end there, where it could have been clutched up, but just good discipline, just waiting for your teammate across your wing on that 2v1 in cave. I think that's just a great set of decision making. A lot of players there would actually just instinctively try and wide swing. But a force
Battle buddies.
Bash brothers.
Yeah. Remember, always have your battle buddy with you. Bash brothers, I like that. That's nice. I'm gonna add that to the dictionary.
The repertoire. That's it. Pair up and
sounds
square up.
homoerotic though. Bash brothers. I go a bit wrong. Depends where in the world you are.
Yeah.
Anyways,
It's the
this is a
flashbang,
very
bros, you
similar
gotta worry
round.
about.
This is a similar enough round. They kind of just smoke long, flash onto the bomb site, and a dream. And you know what? The hopes and dreams, they're working out.
Yeah.
That was the most simple round. There's no way that should have worked. Like, okay, with what they had at their disposal, they do exactly what they should do. But that shouldn't have been so easy. I mean, good entries from Twinkie, but nonetheless, that's very disappointing from the CT side.
I just thought we were in a bit of a time warp. Like, what year is it that the Tech 9 can just punch a hole through a B side?
You're like, what game am I watching?
Yeah.
Which iteration of Counter-Strike is this?
It's just a Rocky Horror Show-esque, let's do the time warp again sort of scenario. And it's just, I don't know. Victoria Summers aren't even going to try and contest it, right? They just know that they're in damage control mode. This one's just been equal pegging so far. The city economy is not entirely in tatters. So those 2 save weapons are going to do a world of good. No one's really been able to wrest the momentum off one another.
Yeah, it's been an insanely back and forth game, but this feels like the most actual dominant early round result for the T side in a while. A Fufu, the man on Unsettled Resentment that you'd probably know of, played at the RMRs with Lin Vision. He's played at quite a few S-tier events actually, an ESL Pro League, and then also some regional events with Lin Vision. In his very limited career, he's done quite a lot. Now back with a more, I guess, lower level team in the region, looking to build back up to his previous fortunes. And that double opener is exactly how you're going to get there. And this is also just incredibly interesting. Like, the T side are outside A, but Twinkie's just killing them over towards B. And he was supposed to be a bait where they all... He takes contact, they then go out on A and plant the bomb. But no, he just snaps onto them in CT. And that's round over.
Yeah. So, well, you go to where it's known that you've got the site locked at least, but... Ember's going to do a little damage with the 5-7. Chances of winning the round, though, I would say are slim to none. He might be able to pick himself up a weapon, but I think they've already got... or trying to get some eyes on it. Don't think he's even going to be able to get too far away. Unless he starts to move now. Oh, look at that. Timing's working out for him.
This is best case scenario. This is actually exactly what Ember needs to do, because there's a big difficulty in the final round for the CT side of, like, what, 1900 loss bonus, 24.
Yeah, they're at the bottom of the
1900.
barrel.
Yeah. So that 5-7 being dropped over. Well, so I mean, obviously the A1S is kind of like the golden equity, right? But even just being able to drop over that 5-7 to, I assume, Razor, who's got it, that means he can buy util. So it's at least someone not just buying 5-7 armor.
Yeah. They're going to throw caution into the wind in this round, I would suspect. Let's see how it... I mean, they've got MP9s, they've got 5-7s. One would suspect aggression would work best in this scenario. But it hasn't been all-out aggression from Victoria Sumus. They've got mid-control pool here for Cloud. He's just anticipating that Molotov there with the smoke. And now it's a wayward battle.
And it's working. Okay, that seemed incredibly disjointed. Felt like there was no real game plan there, and just like oh, I'm gonna throw a grenade, I'm gonna throw a flashbang here. And then they got all the kills. This feels exactly what happened in the previous low buy round that Victoria Sumus won, was that Unsettled Resentment, they were then forced to just go onto the A bomb site. Guess what? There's 3 players here, and Ember's also holding the rotation away. Bomb's going to try to be planted, but that's the operative word. Zaya will pick one up with the AWP, but it looks like a game that has been incredibly close-knit will mimic that in the scoreline at the half. Zaya, unfortunately, no 1 versus 3 for him. 6-6 at the half, and going into the break, it's anyone's game.
And welcome back to the ESL Pro League Season 22 closed qualifiers for Asia. In case you missed the first half, well, we were unable to separate these two teams. 6 apiece heading into the half-time break. We're now in as half-time change ends. Unsettled Resentment, though. We joked about it before just off stream, but there was a double deagle headshot that kind of sent the CT economy into a spiral, one could argue. I wonder if some moments like that are going to reappear as we head into the second.
I think we can be sure of it. That's a very tasty opening shot as well from Reverend over in A main. Whoa, okay, never mind. It was a good start from the T side to try and draw some attention, let's say, towards A main, but instead, Unsettled Resentment, they do a very nice reposition to counteract that Red Room aggression. Shots were connected, and Victorious Sumus, they barely even came around the corner to get into CT.
Yeah, just Zlaya sending them to the Shadow Realm along with those Julies. That was disgusting to say the least, but it was effective. And straight into the Tech 9 buy here for Victorious Sumus. So we'll see whether or not there is some glitter on the strip of alleyway here. Going to just push their way through to these smokes and try and get this plant on B, I would suspect.
Plant would be the most ideal situation, and it doesn't feel like they're going to be able to get that. Victorious Sumus, I think it's fair to say, to me, didn't look like the better team in the first half. It looked like Unsettled Resentment. Victorious Sumus won the pistol round, and they also won 2 force buys. And from that, they were only able to produce 6 rounds on their CT side. So when I look at this now, it's like, okay, the Chinese squad, they've won pistol, they've won the force buy, they've done it quite cleanly. I could see this first half actually just spiraling quite heavily in their favor.
It could. And I feel like this round, I mean, there's just minimal investment, I guess, from the T side. Some Deagles and a P250 to try and ply something out. There's a single flash, but I don't know if anybody's really in a position where it's going to catch them out. Like, they're actually quite deeply set towards A. They've already found a lot of information towards B. They've got, alleyway control, so I think it's safe to say that at the moment, Unsettled Resentment are looking quite untroubled.
Yeah, you mentioned the Deagle bonanza and the just continuous absence of economy on the CT side for Victorious Sumus, and now it's the adverse reaction. I'm looking at Unsettled Resent and I'm thinking, okay, they're coming to this first gun round in a very nifty position. They don't have the AWP out, sure. That's because they've all just kept on staying alive. So they're 9-6 off with also the bank balance to stow away a purchase for the next. Do we need 5 kits? Probably not. But hey ho, better safe than sorry.
No, exactly. Better than scrambling across the site with a few seconds remaining. However, see whether or not, Victorious Sumus can even get the round into a post-plant scenario.
Christ. Sorry, they've just missed 2 molos already. The shelf molo actually bounced off. It didn't land. So if Unsettled Resent had actually gone for a shelf play, there wouldn't have been a molo there because it landed in the middle of mid. And I don't know if you've noticed there, but Ember's also just bounced off a molo in cave and has landed at his own feet, and he fought through it. So there's 2 instances where I'm looking at this early stage for the T side. I'm like, thank God there wasn't someone there for the CT side.
Yeah, that could have been an embarrassing scenario. But yeah, already just that sloppiness starting to creep in. That, I don't know, it always gives you that insight into whether or not a team's sort of, dotted their I's, crossed their T's, because I think at this sort of
Shadow
stage of the
spotted.
game, yeah. And a candlelight vigil.
Such an overpowered spot, man. This red room, if you can hit your shots, it's not even hard. Like you see their shadows so early. And I mean, okay, Benzine does amazing there, right? Like he hits the shots, it was really clean, but it's just such an overpowered position. And I saw that from him and I was like, that feels like the round winning play. But nonetheless, I do agree with the sentiment that you were kind of laying down of, they didn't look great that round, but Benzine gets 2 kills, so therefore they won the round.
Yeah, look, as a CT, clearing that is like nightmare fuel. You just got so many angles that you've got to expose yourself to. And that's why like when you see players who think they've got a hunch as to where a player is, they just totally send it all in, So
Especially because they were trying to retake mid, and then their main prong of the attack died, and then Benzine goes, "Oh right, yeah, okay, their B players are retaking mid. Go B. There's only one player there. Boom, round over."
Yeah, just you could see each thread starting to pull in that round. All right. Momentary pause here, just to work through things. I think maybe working through what on earth is happening. For Victorious Sumus, like what's the game plan here? They are ahead. Sorry, in economy. How do they capitalize on it? How do they close the gap? Is it just is it a similar scenario to last round? Do they insert the splinter cell into red room? Or do they try something a little bit different? This one's looking a lot faster paced from the get-go.
Oh, off we...
In economy. How do they capitalize on it? How do they close the gap? Is it just is it a similar scenario to last round? Do they insert the splinter cell into red room? Or do they try something a little bit different? This one's looking a lot faster paced from the get-go.
Oh, off we go. And he's all... Okay, Akari's just dead. If he gets a single kill here, I'll be impressed. And yeah, he doesn't. Luckily, day has been saved by Twinkie and a Fufu. They come through with 3 apiece. And Twinkie's just charging forward. He's had massive value when the kills have been offered up for him. And now Clouder left into a 1 versus 3, chilling in this smoke. Doesn't realize, but every single player's on the other side of that and walks out into the belly of the beast, where Twinkie just actually lays down the law in this round.
Yeah. That was just good that he had, a Fufu just sitting there on his shoulder, just ready to fight as well. So you could see Victorious Sumus, just once they got into that side, everybody was just trying to swing on Twinkie, but weren't up to the duel, weren't up to the task. All right, Victorious Sumus back to the drawing board for them. That's a good early opener. It's going to signal straight on into A.
I like this drawing board. It's worked out. Just go pick A. Bomb is coming over. Yeah, Bomb is... Okay, so the go kills worked out so far, and utility's been put down. Very precarious position Madness has put himself into. Chilling around the fog of war. Smoke fades, and yeah, he's never going to really be favored in that interaction. Unfortunately, Unsettled Resent, even though they did have... Obviously, the players over towards the A-bomb site, Victorious Sumus do very well to make sure they don't rush anything. And so they get down the util, they hold the smokes as they're fading. And that's exactly the only thing you're trying to look for as a CT side on that 4 versus 5, is to try capitalize upon maybe some of the pandemonium. And they couldn't. So this back and forth game, it just continues.
Just keeps on going back and forth. Bit of a pendulum game. Regardless. I don't know, I feel like we call this a game stuck in a boot cycle.
Yeah, it just keeps on kind of like coming around the same way. Like I'm sitting here, I think I said that I feel like Unsettled Resent are looking like the more consistent team, but by large, you know, that's splitting hairs. By large, it certainly is a bit of neither team looks better, neither team looks worse. They both just kind of, yeah.
They meet in the middle. I mean, at that point too, it does come down to individual plays, I think. So, not really having a lot of aggression in this round, Unsettled Resentment. Happy to just opt out. Maybe try and make their way through some of the utility being spent. Yeah,
At least they landed the mollo this time.
that one was a little bit more simple, though, I would argue.
Exact same one. It just bounced off last time off the right wall. It was quite funny.
Yeah, it's just all those. Oh,
Ooh,
that's not the
that's
scenario.
ambitious.
Not where you want to be caught, is it?
No, that wouldn't be the type of play that I'd be looking to go for. Issue for Unsettled Resent are in a very weird position because they've got Madness on the flank, but they also have no mid control. However, it feels like this Madness flank is going to come in before there's any worry of the B bomb site because, look, you had Madness on the flank, but if Victorious Summers had actually just gone onto the B bomb site a little bit quicker, then Twinkie was preoccupied with middle, and then there was the two players that were stuck in cave. Unfortunately, when that information of the double cave setup was acquired, Victorious Summers, well, did squat all with it. They actually didn't move. And then that favored the proactive CT side.
Yeah, it's that indecision, isn't it, really? Just ultimately has them unstuck.
I think it's showing maybe a little bit of inexperience. Like, I see double cave there. Boom. Mollo at the entrance of cave. Good flashes. And you've most likely got the B-bomb site.
Yeah. That's the percentage play. Right, you just play off percentages at that point. But some smokes have just got Unsettled Resentment. Just waiting out that donut aggression. Obviously now they sort of need to double back and get some eyes on towards the A site. Double donut can be ambitious as well from a CT setup. They are going to be able to get themselves out of that scenario, so. It is the B site players, though, that are looking for a bit of an information play.
Has it pulled any rotations? No, not really. Madness. Ooh. Oh, that is a very unfortunate A-hold because loads of damage has been done, but only one kill actually came through from Madness and Zaya. They did get caught in maybe not the most of prettiest positions, but the bomb plant of Victorious Summers, they know at least one's on the bomb site. Unknown. Oh no, Twinkie's just killed his teammate, and now it's a 1 versus 1. I mean, that was a nice shot out of the air, but to his teammate. Benzeme in the known towards Donut. Twinkie's got a smoke. Why didn't he let the smoke bloom? He tapped the bomb before the smoke bloomed, so it's the easiest clutch of Benzeme's life, and Twinkie, who's had a really good city side, has just thrown it all away.
Oh, dear me. And this is what we said about this, these two teams, right? Like, we didn't know much about them. Inexperience is what I hear and see most of out of that round. Like, there was just a lot of inexperienced plays being made.
You didn't have to kick him while they were down.
Oh yeah, you know.
That was a hard watch from someone who's done quite well.
Yeah, that's probably the hardest pill to swallow from that round, is that up until that point, I don't know, things were looking good for Unsettled Resentment.
Yeah, that was the game right there, pretty much, I feel like.
Well, yeah, exactly. You probably would have had Victoria Sumus on like a scrappy buy at best, trying to defend match point.
Yeah, because look at their purchase, and this was a round 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, who won this round? Could you look at the purchases and tell me who won?
It's similar territory to the second round sort of force buy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
T's get the plant, force buy in the second. Yeah. Bit of a waiting
Taking
game,
a look
though.
at where... Yeah, because Twinkies, even though he was the 6th T side in the last round, he's the one with the A1S, so he's kind of the most important player in this round. Unfortunately, he's out of the action over towards CT, but those B defenders have done a marvelous job. Ofufu got the opening kill in middle, Akari's got 2 on the side, and Ember's actually completely alone. I don't know what the information was, but they seemed very aware that Benzene was over towards A. I actually don't know if I missed anything or what, but they were very aware he was not on that bomb site. So they just hunt Ember down. And this is what the 3rd or 4th CT force buy that's been won in this game, which is just insane.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the unhinged world of Asian Counter-Strike. It's like where the points are made up and the rules don't matter, I think is one way to put it. But no, they definitely just another day, isn't it? I mean, rightfully so, you're using your 3rd tactical timeout here for oh, dear me, for Victoria Sumus. I think it's safe to say, look, there's a lot of opportunity in each and every one of these rounds. I just think that the variables in each and every one of these rounds are quite unpredictable. So, look, that being said, though, map point and a chance to take it for unsettled resentment. I think they'll probably feel as though they maybe were the better team anyway, and if they don't take it at this point, that could really bleed into the rest of the series. So they really want to close this out quickly, I would say.
This is their map pick, and they'll be going on to their, obviously, opponent's map pick of Anubis, but they will be starting on the T side. So there's definitely a big conversation to be had of, they finish this well, and then they go into map 2 in a pretty good position. This is a very simple execute from Victoria Sumus. This is by the book. Nata here's watching. He's like, yeah, this is my execute, boys. Unfortunately, they're running through to their grave. That smoke being put down towards ramp, it's pretty hard to get through. Clouder and Ember, they are trying their best. This AK is ringing out somewhat effectively, but it's still a man disadvantage for the T side as the bomb will get planted. Molotov does miss, so does the nade. So Ember actually doesn't take too much damage. I stand corrected. That ticks very late. However, throughout all of that, it's a 1 versus 1 that Ofufu ends up winning. Arguably the most experienced player on this roster, shows that and delivers a victory in their map pick.
Yeah, he had all the information he needed to as well at that point, knowing that the player was trapped behind the box in cave. It was a simple equation for Ofufu.
Even though the scoreline was very close, I'm sitting here thinking that it actually wasn't a close game. They just won a pistol round and a bunch of force buys.
Yeah, it was one of those matches where, if you just look at the scoreline, and maybe you even just look at some of the stats and not analyze it round by round, you would think that on the surface, but yeah, unsettled resentment, I guess, have some work to do here on Anubis if they're going to get through this as victors. So I'm hoping to see a little bit more from Victoria Sumus on this map. I guess we'll see. Maybe they're Anubis, proficient, and we just never knew it.
Yeah, I mean, Victoria Summit are the team we know a little bit more about, right? Because they've actually got those recorded games on HLTV from their regional leagues in India. And so by virtue, I just put them more in the driver's seat. And they're going to have to show us why I would have done that. And this pistol round, it's actually looking really, really clean so far. They do lose one player, but Razor, he does his job. He gets 3 kills with the dual Berettas, mimicking the beginning of Ancient here on Anubis.
Yeah, it's a little bit of history repeating, isn't it? It was, I don't know, I feel as though they just threw themselves to the wolves. You know, instant unsettled resentment. Didn't even feel like they were holding weapons. That's how one way the traffic was. So we'll see whether or not they can get anything in this round. I mean, they've only got Glocks. Just looking to hopefully not feed the SMGs too much. Or the SMG, should I say. Not messing about, though, Victoria Sumus. Just straight onto the M4s. Negate the utility and fight it out. Thought for a second there they might have just taken, you know, the rattlesnake approach.
Rattlesnake as in...
Yeah, I realised after saying that I could have confused you a little bit. Because rattlesnake.
Are you talking about the player?
No, I was talking about the Glock strategy.
Oh, around the world.
Yeah.
Esque.
Holding the right click. And so when you get everybody holding the right click, it sounds like a rattlesnake.
Oh, okay.
But I realised rattlesnake is also an epic, you know, UK. He's a UK legend.
Yeah, that's what. Because I was like, of all people to reference, I feel like you'd maybe one of the only people to reference just on the basis of your tenure. So I was like, am I missing something? You spun me for a second. I was like, do I not know some UKCS lore? Like, I'm supposed to be Mr. UKCS.
Not much on offer here. Well then, if you know the UKCS lore, you would know easy skins, easy wins.
Of course. What was that, 2015?
Yeah. That's casting...
Bit before my
dark
time.
Days. Dark days for Australian CS.
Is it bright days now?
Yeah, well... Depends on...
There has to be good days for there to be dark days.
That's true. I think the dark days are more often than not. Oh, we'll see. Maybe you know, tunes will change. Roster change for FlyQuest might be the answer.
Fly win.
No longer just a quest.
Yeah, I mean, at least you guys have a hope. Let's put it.
Oh,
yeah.
You got Messi.
Yeah, you know, undeniable. It's like fantastic, and I think that does great for a scene when someone does do well. But it's very easy to then narrow in on like one person's success and like forget about how crap everything else is. But that's a conversation for another time. Regardless, Akari, he was supposed to throw some entry utility. The flashbang didn't exactly land. I'm not sure if it's making a difference though, and I'm not sure if it matters because Madness, who had a pretty good, he had some really good moments at the start of Ancient. Felt like he cooled off towards the end, but right now he's got his first 3 kills in the game, opening up that A bomb site basically single-handedly.
Yeah. It looked like, you know, the execute was actually quite decent from Unsettled Resentment. Like those Molotovs did a decent job of just clearing and unsettling Victoria Sumus, just pushing CTs out into the open for those duels. I don't think Victoria Sumus, they were just so deeply set in that site that like the utility trapped them. So it's a good reply here on their first gun round. A single M4 in Clouder will be saved over. I don't know what they're going to do here. Yeah, Amber could probably force something up. They could go for a low buy, but I don't think it's worth the squeeze.
Yeah, I'm looking at a lot of these T side rounds and also just how the approach is on the CT side. And I think it was very evident on Ancient, and it's already somewhat shown on Anubis of just like when I look at an execute, it's very obviously like the kind of bog standard. This is how you execute the A bomb site, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you noticed it on Ancient, but it was like a lot of the times, it was like, okay, this is textbook B A execute, and I don't know if that's like kind of a region thing or a level thing, but it feels very textbook Counter-Strike from both sides, where it's like very bare bones. Truth be told.
Yeah. Yeah. Normally, the higher you start to climb, you get those variations that are the cornerstones of playing CS at that level. But yeah, this is just that. All right, guys, we're going to get into these are the sort of strats you dry run until your fingers are numb.
Like, I know that's obviously undermining, right, a little bit, but I don't disagree. I think when I'm watching this, it's like, yeah, okay, these are the there's like very set rounds, which, to be fair to them, seem very drilled. Like it seems like we've had a few rounds where it's like, okay, everyone knows what they're supposed to be doing. But yeah, it's very simple, I think.
Yeah, I think at the moment, you got to learn to play chess before you play chess in 4D. You know what I mean?
This is the learning how to play chess. This is the don't want to step too far ahead.
Yeah. Also, thoughts quickly on these gun charms. I don't know.
Oh, I feel I can imagine you as someone who's been around for maybe a little bit longer doesn't like them or appreciate. I think I look at it and I'm like, what was it? It just looks a bit childish and I don't know. It's just yeah.
Yeah. I already had my thoughts and feelings on like effectively this generation's fidget spinner and the karambit and the butterfly, but look, yeah. I'm not opposed to gun charms, put it that way. I think it's a little less, you're less likely to get caught with that, playing around with it and cost you a round than you will with a knife out, that's for sure. Just a simple set of smokes out early on, just trying to take some territory, unsettled resentment, but also trying to overexert themselves either. Victoria Sumus are just happy to set pretty deep, actually, in both of these two sites. So, slight pinch over towards B. Could be caught out here, actually, with this pop flash.
Okay, a bit messy, and well, there's the round.
Yeah.
Round done. Twinkie's put a nice little bow on it as well with that final kill towards Temple. But that B bomb site, there just may as well have been no one there. They all play 3 players individually, and Unsettled Resents just kind of make their way out, and boom, round over.
Yeah, you can even tell, like, as soon as that first domino fell, Ember's caught in 2 minds, right? He's like, do I go back and check where they're coming from, or do like E-box, or do I just watch my own back in the site? And you can see the end result. He was just another domino to fall. So Unsettled Resentment is starting to wrap their fingers around some CT economy. It'll just be a question of what they do with the M4 and the MP9 from Revan. I don't think the MP9's of too much value unless they do something maybe aggressive around him and some pistols and just anchor the site with Razor, who's looking to buy in some utility. Well, pretty much all the utility. Never mind. They're just throwing caution into the wind. MP9s and good times. Good vibes only. Tactical timeout means some structure at least.
Well, you'd hope so.
At least they may be talking about what they're about to do.
You'd also hope that as well. There could be someone at the door. But yeah, no, that's like one of the rounds I'm gonna do is where I just look at and I'm like, ooh, didn't seem like they were ready or have tons of experience when I look, look at a site set up like that, flash into cave where the smoke's still up and then just dry swinging. I don't know, that whole kind of like round is just, I look at it, I'm like, ooh. Ugh.
Yeah, look away now, children. Cover your eyes. Yeah. Issue with this buy for me is always going to be firepower, but I don't know, that doesn't look like they're doing anything out of the ordinary, right? Like, okay, yeah, maybe going to look to close the gap, but you put the MP9s in that position. Why are the MP9s baiting the M4?
Vibes.
We'll see.
Yeah, they're trying to make their way, I don't know, out of A, but at least prod. Late flashbang. And the A1S swung first.
Yeah, but, yeah. I mean, the A1S, I actually didn't catch it there, but at the start of the round, had the all utility. So unless he distributed it around to everybody else.
Just dies with a full belt there.
Yeah.
Potentially. But, Unsettled Resent. Ooh. Okay. Not out of the clear just yet, especially with Benzene getting one towards middle. Revan's certainly in the known and also has the read. He's making his way through canals.
Yeah.
He's going to be beaten to this bomb site, but he's heard it. A Fufu in the known. 25 seconds. Zaya taps the bomb. Revan forces his way out. And tunnel vision slightly perhaps by that bomb tap trying to close the ground. And a very well collected 1 versus 1 from Zaya. But overall a round where you sit back and you wonder, how did it ever get to a 1 versus 1?
Yeah, that looked like it shouldn't have ever gone towards it, particularly after that, push into canals with the pop flash. I thought maybe they'd oversold themselves. I thought Razor was maybe the wrong one to step with the M4 first, but obviously full of confidence. So another step flash here to clear out. Deeply set, unsettled resentment are going to be relatively untroubled. So I think
this is scary a little bit early doors. I think how I'm shaping up this second map of Victoria Summers need to maybe buckle down a little bit.
Yeah, this could start to blow out if they're not careful. So it's all dependent now on what direction they decide to take with their gun rounds. Okay. Revan on that AWP. We'd like to see them maybe try and open up some avenues for him to maybe take an early peek, maybe take some early aggression, unsettled resentment. Are they going to be anticipating something like that? We'll see. I mean, a Mach 10 could certainly trouble everybody on Victoria Summers right now with that lack of head armor. Oh,
that terrifies me. It looks like there's somewhat of... I was going to say, maybe Revan setting up his teammates to fight through A main again. But unfortunately, a nade that was slightly misplaced. I mean, well, it didn't miss the nade, but wrong timing, wrong place. And Unsettled Resent, they're trying to put a fake towards the A bomb site, but Victoria Summers just have all the information. They're ahead of this missed smoke. They know exactly what the crack is. They know it's a ruse, but they're still sitting there. There's still 2 players over towards A. Cloud has just pulled util and is going to most likely get run down by this Mach 10.
Oh.
Not the Mach 10, but Twinkie, at least from B main. Still those players haven't moved from A. Benzene, no one clears jail, so he's been able to get away with 2. That feels like murder. A Fufu on the back lines, just causing chaos, and that's the name of the game for Unsettled Resented.
Yeah, it's just, Chicken ass taking names. Revan now. I don't know. The prospect of saving this AWP might be quite slim. He's going to get the jump on a Fufu, so let's see whether or not they manage to run him out of his now A-site foxhole. He's anticipating around his corner. He's seen the shoulder. There we go. Okay. Very, very troubling round for Victoria Sumus. I can safely say that. T economy is just starting to bloom into territory that could be quite troubling for the CT side. So a tactical timeout comes on the back of it. I mean, I'm not surprised, to say the least. They recognise that they need to make some changes here, need to make some adjustments. They, honestly, are just being pulled apart by some pretty, I don't know, it's a pretty basic push and pull Counter-Strike, really. Attention being taken.
Yeah.
Attention being
even
given.
that last round, right, where like they get the information it's not A, and the players don't really move away.
Yeah, and that opens the door as well, right? Like for that B site to just be pressed. So, you know, attention being taken, and they end up being shot in the back. Like they're literally just walking through the door.
Which is crazy that like Victoria Summers have the information. And they're still being caught off guard. That was a opening duel and a half. But like on both times as well towards the B bomb site, you have Clouder, who's very much tunnel vision towards cave, but playing that quite aggressively. And seemingly very much caught off guard every time there's someone there. I don't know if it's because he doesn't expect people to be playing as fast as they are, but certainly is just not ready for people to be there. And then so I say it's towards cave, and the site players then look towards cave and then get shot from B main. Like, it's just a very silly setup. And like even this, like, what's going on? Okay, madness by name, madness by nature. Running through that cave smoke was certainly a brazen option. Benzine, is he going to win the round single-handedly? Not quite, but 3 kills is certainly admirable, especially with a lot of damage onto a Fufu. But in this 2 versus 2, Unsettled Resent, they are scarpering for the hills towards that A bomb site, and no one's expecting this.
Yeah, that's great heads-up play as well to make that adjustment. They pretty much just licked, stamped, and sent it from that point on, knowing that the rotation
no hesitation.
Would be deep. Yeah, the rotation's going to be deep. So they got a good chance now with that post-plant positioning. If a Fufu can pry a kill here, he sets up Slayer quite nicely.
There's no kit as well. Look at this. So Revan, he's going to at least join up with Razor. Time ticking down though. Halfway ticked. A Fufu hasn't been cleared. And now all the focus is on Zaya. Revan does at least pick up a Fufu, but it's the AWPs now up against each other, and unfortunately, there's actually just no time. You mentioned the deep rotations. They got this A bomb site, and the bomb was over half ticked, and after those first 2 fights, yeah, round over.
Yeah, lack of kits as well, really limiting options, so they escaped the round with the AWP, but I think at this point, they want to start putting some rounds on the board. Unsettled Resentment are not really looking unsettled at all.
I mean, that round obviously gets a little bit more touch and go. I think that was Unsettled Resent. Oh, yeah, a bit overconfident. I think that's very fair to say, with them trying to break through a cave. I wouldn't blame them. Like, it's worked pretty nicely for them in the past, so hey, may as well, right? But yeah, this B bomb site, they're going to be heading here like a broken record because, hey, don't change what ain't broke.
Oh, man.
That's...
Okay, Benzine has been a spark.
Oh, hold on.
And is he going to spark a comeback? No. I was going to say he'd been a bright spark. He'd done some damage, picked up, handy multi-kill rounds. But I don't know. I feel as though the rest of Victoria Sumus have kind of fallen by the wayside.
I wasn't sure if you were. I don't know if this is too niche of a reference, but I wasn't sure if when you were saying benzene spark a moment, you were referencing the gas benzene that's like highly flammable.
Look, I did chemistry and physics in high school. So,
A long time ago now, is it?
So it's a long time ago now. But yeah, put it this way, I haven't had to use the periodic table in quite a period of time.
Quite a while. Oh, period of time. Good one there. My significant other is a biology teacher, so I would say every day is a school day for me.
That's it. Yeah. Supposed to be a lifelong student.
I literally am.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a lifelong student. It took me 5 years to complete year 1. Whoa.
Okay, that's a nice pick from Revan, but I do actually want to say in that previous round, that was quite a nice execute from Unsettled Resent. Like, I think I was saying how things feel very, like, by the book. That was actually quite a cool execute. There was deep smokes, a lot of util, very well placed, very, very well structured. Everyone knew what they were supposed to be doing. It was very well drilled. And this, unfortunately, this round, it's not even necessarily the execute, but it's more the counteractive play from Victoria Summers. It all stems from that opening kill from Revan, and Unsettled Resent, they just feel like they have to go towards A. And then when they do that, it's like, oh, they're running into a close range MP9 who then buys times for the rest of those rotations and the dynamic AWPer as well to set up over on towards A main. So not necessarily a bad round from the T side. Actually, the first round for Victoria Summers' half where I look at and I'm like, that's actually a nice round.
Yeah, I think also too, because they were somewhat unsettled as well, it meant there was weird spacing between the T's just filtering into that site. Like, there wasn't any chance for any trades. It was kind of weird. It was a very jagged entry, but you could just see the utility from Victoria Summers just perfectly playing into that. Now, City Aggression, looking to spot out. Yeah, I kind of back Benzene to be the one trying to take those jewels over maybe Clouder. Clouder hasn't had too much success in Cave. Benzene's just seemingly got a little more of a, I don't know, bit of staying power, can stay alive in this instance. Clouder's been caught out far too many times, so they've actually swapped that up. And now got Clouder just more anchored towards the side itself.
AWP's been brought over as well. This is a change up. Last time the AWPer was here, he was on the back of the bomb site, mollowed out. This time, aggressive line in towards Cave, but good utility, could be difficult, and yep, it just completely splits up these two players in Cave. Revan will at least get one. Clouder hasn't been cleared again.
Oh.
This is the second time this has happened. They didn't clear towards jail. They finally dispatched of them. Look at this quick flank though from Ember. Drops down in towards Canals, and now leaves Zaya in a 1 versus 2. Bomb not quite in his grasp, and ooh, gets caught on a very awkward timing there. Was holding the line, and as he moves away, Ember's able to fade away, and Razor not quite in the known just yet. So when Zaya gets this kill, where is the final player? He seems to be obsessed with Connector. He's going to clear out Canals and is going to realize with 20 seconds left, oh, this is going to be tight. With 22 seconds, he started to run from Connector to A, and I think he's got it.
Yeah, it's got it just. Problem is, Razor wouldn't have had that audible either. So it is the right play. Heads up. But now he was very limited in what he could do with the post plant. Razor does have some util, but so does Slayer. So let's just see how it plays out.
CT Mollo, you can just get around that. And yeah, honestly, easiest 1 versus 1 from Zaya. Like, obviously, that's a nice shot to be hitting at the end. But kind of balls of steel from Zaya there not to actually peek aggressively around that Molo, because he didn't see that the bomb was being defused or not.
Yeah. The old umbilical cords.
What?
That's what we used to call them when they introduced the, when you're defusing, you can see the cords coming out. We used to call them umbilical cords. Like you're still attached
Legendary.
to the bomb.
Legendary, Paul. I can impress, whenever I meet an Aussie now, I can impress him with my Aussie Counter-Strike lore knowledge.
Just the Aussie niche reference.
This is a change of pace this round, though, isn't it, from Victoria Summers?
It is. And to be honest with you, I'm here for it, because now it has Unsettled Resentment having to clear corners. That being said, though, I feel as though it's, Victoria Summers are in that position where they have to start trying different things. And now, I mean, I'm looking at the utility bleed from Victoria Summers. There's not really too much left in the tank after this.
What an interesting duel over towards Cave.
Oh, Revan could lock it down. Oh, instead he's locked up by the player at jail. Slayer though, does get that, and now has exactly the knowledge of where Ember might be. And they do the dance in the smoke.
He's done this before, though. Ember has a good idea. Ember has a good idea in the smoke, but Zaya's distanced himself. Bomb's not planted for him, but he's read Ember like a book, but he misses the shots. No! Ember has got a kit. I think he can just straight up defuse the bomb.
Yep.
And that's exactly what he's going to do, but the wall bang! Madness to end off this second half. Back-to-back 1 versus 2 clutches for Zaya. And Unsettled Resentment lead 9-3.
Welcome back for the second half of Unsettled Resentment and Victorious Sumus, the close qualifiers here for ESL Pro League Season 22. One of these teams will be fighting their way on in this bracket. One of them will unfortunately be calling it a day. Single elimination. And I'd say Unsettled Resentment have a clear victory path ahead of them. Unless Victorious Sumus can throw a spanner in the works, and they're going to throw that spanner in the works quite quickly, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, one pistol round is just, it's donezo. And Twinkie, we saw what the Jewel Brothers could do in the first half. And Twinkie, so far, is doing well with one, but that's all he'll get. And Victorious Sumus, if they win this, that's then both pistol rounds won in this map, and 3 across the series, and that's it doesn't feel great when I read those statistics and then look at the score lines.
Yeah. It doesn't. Unsettled Resentment. They're just waiting this out, aren't they, Victorious Sumus? They're just... Oh, there we go. There we go. The Julies, okay.
What is going on?
Cue the Benny Hill theme song.
Do you want to give us a short rendition?
I don't know. I don't know if my voice is nasal enough for that. It could be. Catch me on the right day.
Depends how many drinks you've had.
Precisely. Or how many I haven't.
Where's the confidence levels at?
Yeah. The liquidity of my confidence. Alright, Mac 10s. Let's just see whether or not they're going to be farming. Maybe they're going to be farming some confidence.
I wonder if this game has any legs to it, because, like, naturally this map is so T-sided. But Victorious Sumus, the only rounds they got on that first half was the pistol rounds, and then they had like one nice gun round, the third final round. And you know, that was a nice round where I think the AWP on Revan got an opening kill, pivoted towards A. Like, you know, it was actually a round where you look at and you're like, okay, nice. You know, can we get more of that? They didn't. So my confidence levels for Victorious Sumus unfortunately are quite low, as the sole representatives from India in this qualifier for ESL Pro League, it looks like they could be on the precipice of being eliminated outright. And it is actually also a bit of a surprise to me that they are the only Indian team, because I kind of spoke about it a little bit in the first map, but they're not even the best team in India. Like, they're kind of consistently second place darlings.
Yeah, the bridesmaids. Never the bride. God's Reign hold that that title for the moment anyway. But maybe this is the
it's not even
experience
always. Like, they don't even always. It's like normally they lose to God's Reign, but like it's not even every time as well, which makes me even more confused. I'm like, who? Am I missing something?
Well, maybe this is that, you know, that level of experience that they need just to get to that, you know, to push that next level. We'll see. Monitor the situation closely.
Looks like God's Reign have kind of thrown the towel in. Don't have a roster right now on HLTV. But, Unsettled Resentments. First gun round the CT side, and it's a chaotic one. They had the numbers here. They had a lot of players over towards the A bomb side. I think they were trying to go for a play through A main, and they met Victorious Sumus doing the exact same thing. And it only goes one way, as the Indian squad look to keep their flawless streak on the T side.
Yeah, they got to roll on now. Twinkie just We'll try and mosey out of that site with the AK. I don't think there's, aside from Ember, it's going to be a real serious pursuit. Might be able to hold on to it. Might not. We'll see. But, I don't know, Victoria Sumus have looked a lot better. I mean, there was a lot going on in that round. There was a lot of flashpoints all across the map, wasn't there? Sort of just organised chaos. A tactical timeout.
That's a very positive way of looking at it.
Key word was chaos, though.
Yeah, that's more emphasized. Chaos with a capital C.
I need to do something though. Unsettled resentment. Don't think it's this. I don't think this is going to be the round to do it. But I mean, we did see quite a few CT force buys on Ancient, and they were quite successful. This one doesn't have the full, the full commitment. We've at least left something in the tank. But we'll see whether or not there's something hyper-aggressive on the back of that.
Oh, okie dokie. Thank God for Clouder. And that is a very thankful result for Victoria Summers, because we look at it, both Ember and Clouder touching distance away from being brought down. So that engagement in middle really could have gone either way.
Ooh.
And yeah, it seems like this isn't going to be that round. You were mentioning that there was just an abundance of force buy wins on Ancient. I think Unsettled Resentment, the main reason why they won map 1 was actually because of a force buy win in the penultimate round. But Victoria Summers were the main force to be delivering the majority of those force buy rounds. Regardless, this is going to be, 4 in a row for Victoria Summers. But that first gun round, it's very hard to actually tell anything from that round, because it was a set play that just went wrong, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like the wheels fell off, essentially. And they're just going to shuffle that bomb over towards the A site. Raze is just out scouting and won't find any resistance. In the meantime, Revan's just tasked with keeping them interested over towards the B side. I don't think there's going to be too much interest from Madness and Slayer anyway. I would say their interest lies in actually trying to pick up the lost weaponry. But even then, they're nowhere near it. So I think this round's just going to peter out.
Bit of damage here or there could be nice. That AK picked up is always going to be a benefit, but I've got a feeling they're not going to hold on to it. Yeah, okay.
It's done.
Clean by all things considered. This first half of Victoria Summit is the second half so far.
Certainly has been quite a transition, actually. I thought maybe they had sold themselves short in the first half. But obviously, as you said, the T-side favoured nature of Anubis is certainly being capitalised on by Victoria Summers. Stock standard play across the map.
This is the interesting round for me, because as I mentioned, it's like that first gun round, which is kind of, I don't know, it's just, you can't really tell anything from that. But this is to see if the T side have any oomph in them, and if the CT side are actually going to maintain what they were doing in that first half. And so far, it's a lot of poking and prodding from Victoria Summers. Look, like they're poking middle, they're poking A, and also B. They got no util left at like a minute 13, basically. And they haven't, by large, really got any map control because of all of that poking and prodding. Like, they've got 2 smokes, a mollo, and a few flashes at a minute, and no map control.
Yeah, nothing to show for it.
And there's 3B as well, perfectly. Oh, now it's 1B.
Never mind.
Oh, this is scary.
He's put himself under pressure with that reload. I don't really think they're too interested seriously in the retake. I'll be honest with you, I think, you know, over exit kills anyway, preserving their own economy is probably in their best interests.
I look at many things in this round for unsettled resentment, and I'm thinking, how didn't that round, like, how does it just go so badly so quickly? Like, Victoria Sumus has no util, they have no map control, you have 3 players towards the B bomb site, and yet Afufu's the only player to get a kill when it was 1 versus 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that one will be up there with the great mysteries of the world, right? Like the Bermuda Triangle, the
Bermuda Triangle.
unsettled resentment, Victoria Sumus, you know, round 17 of map 2 in the closed qualifier.
Historians will write about this.
Yeah. And, you know, we're the ones to bear witness to it. The lucky few. But good aggression out of Victoria Summers just to push that, you know, the A push back into the site. I thought
Yeah, try to get Revan
peek.
with an AWP open. It's good to see the AWPer being active and not just sitting on his laurels, right? Actually getting some of those opening picks, doing something, flashing in his teammates into angles, being proactive.
Yeah. That's what you like to see. And it's great too. I don't know. I've always been a fan of proactive AWPers. I mean, it is, you know, when they can open up the game like that, there we go. Okay. Slayer takes a bit of damage to pick up Clouder. That's all the way over on the other end of the map, though. So this will be the full rotation coming through.
Oh my god. Madness is gotten away with murder. To not only survive, but then pump back through the smoke with a kill. And Victoria Summers, it's looked like a pretty good second half so far on this T side. You know, it's been flawless, the money's really good. But then we take a look at round 18, and you sit back and you marvel at what was the game plan here? Like, there was the opening pick attempt at the AWP, and then what?
Yeah, philosophers will ponder that one for years to come.
Socrates couldn't even think of an answer.
And, you know, he had a voice so sweet that, you know, bees would settle on his lips. As legend would have it. That being said, though, Unsettled Resentment edging closer towards victory. Let's just see whether or not this bombardment will net any results. Just trying to sell them on something, seeing if they can, you know, be tempted to peek, and it's exactly.
Jesus, they just nade the smoke and just kind of like swing around it at long range.
Yeah.
The kahunas on them.
Oh yeah.
No flashbang. AWP? Nah.
Can you imagine the strength required to just, you know, cart that around on the daily?
It's biblical strength. And, oh, Twinkie. Oh, Ooh, it doesn't look like he's played that position before.
No.
These B holds, both sides, have been rather weak. And yet another B hold where you sit there and you just gotta sit back and wonder.
And sit back they will.
Quite literally now, actually, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think Victoria Summers is like, just stop going A. Just stop going A.
It's just, this is exactly what happened in the first half. Just like, oh, let's just go B every round.
Yeah.
What's the point of changing it up?
You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I mean, they're not even losing players. They lose like one player max.
Yeah, just focus fully on that B side. Don't mess around elsewhere. Let's just see whether or not they've got enough in them to draw level. Yeah, Unsettled Resentment have kind of been disappointing in the second half, to say the least. It really looked like they were the far better team in the first half, and that, I don't know, that coordination they had on the T side just petered away on CT.
No, you're not going straight towards B. Victoria Summers, stop trying to get map control. Just execute B.
Yeah.
They're not even playing 3 players there as well. Like, Akari is played towards middle. I mean, he has got 4 kills, so how helpful could he actually be towards B? Up for debate.
Just fodder.
Just manpower. Something I have noticed, a big thing with this game so far, is that when people throw util, they do love to like swing out into the open and throw the util. And it kind of makes me clench sometimes, I can't lie. Also, Madness, this is a 5 versus 3, and he's gone, yeah, let me push aggressively A main by myself towards the smoke, and it works.
He's just doing it for the info, right? Like that's every CT court in that position says that.
What's going on, man? Oh, that is a nade that is absolutely dunked onto Revum. Leaves Clouder in a 1 versus 3, and I couldn't even begin to tell you what's really happened this round.
No, that's going to take some breaking down.
And even then, I don't know if you'd come to an answer.
Yeah. Yeah, that one will be debated for a while, I would say. I think it's safe to say that you know, this tactical timeout is going to be make or break for Victoria Sumus. I think. I mean, really, what are they realistically saying in this tactical timeout? Hey guys, we should go back to what was working. We should go back to B. That's the percentage play for me, anyway. You know, the all-knowing, the all-seeing caster. But I mean, Unsettled Resentment have never looked comfortable at B, so, you know, I guess it's just a question of whether or not they're able to make those adjustments, make it work. Straight out of spawn. Nobody has the bomb, though. They're leaving their options open.
Ooh, almost caught the jiggle there. Redvin's very eager to get an opening kill with this orb. He's gone for it many a time, but I don't think he's ever actually succeeded necessarily. 3 players over here on the B bomb site. That smoke has just been chucked onto the bomb site. I almost respect it. Just like, this will land somewhere. And it does, but it gives a one-way for a Fufu and Twinkie to strike for 2. Finally, the B bomb site's holding. Twinkie triples down and a nade sails towards Reverend to not only win the round, but a B site round that gives Unsettled Resentment 12.
The weird thing for me in that entire thing was I don't know where Victoria Summers' head was at because that bomb was still in in spawn.
Oh.
They committed to that site hit and they didn't have the bomb.
They just went, ah.
So everybody
Well, grand.
going into that, right? Like everybody
Well, grand.
going into that, right? Like everybody in the back of their mind is knowing, like, okay, we've committed to this site, but we can't really commit, can we? Oh man, yeah, that might just be it. That might just be it.
I think it is, because even if you look at the economy as well, and Victoria Sumus are going towards A, recipe for disaster. They've lost 3 rounds in the second half. 2 of them are when they went A. I don't think they've yet to actually win a round towards the A bomb site, but they do have the advantage of, well, no one being here. Despite Akari having full B control, they have no one on the A bomb site. Fufu gets Clouder in middle, so it eliminates the lurk. The bomb gets planted, so it's kind of a giveaway of what's going on.
Yeah.
But Unsettled Resent, they're now going to have to reset in this 5 vs 4, and Ember's just smoked CT Spawn.
Oh no! Like Unsettled Resentment, right? Like they even know that they're weak at B, so they've over-rotated to it and left A wide open.
Just does 3 in middle. What? Okay, Twinkie should be full blind. Wasn't. This time at least will be. Time's running down, and of course, the one round where it's a low purchase, even though Unsettled Resentment get an opening kill, that's one of 2 kills they get after a very, very sloppy retake attempt.
That should have been curtains.
Yeah.
That should have been curtains. I don't understand, but then again, yeah. I mean, that flash, yeah, I actually think it landed under the lip of the stair, weirdly enough. Like, it was just one of those things. Like, if it was a HE, it would have done no damage as well. You know what I mean? One of those sort of scenarios. Like there's a paper clip on the floor that blocked the nade damage, so we've all been there. And I think Victoria Summers are literally chasing the dragon. Again, they're going back towards A.
Oh, and Man is being pulled out with utility, but he's able to pull back out his weapon for at least one.
A lot of damage.
Fufu, yeah, Fufu could do the same, but as you mentioned, that damage done. But last round, that retake towards the A bomb site isn't making me hopeful as we enter a 3 vs 3 and the digits tapped in.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be weighing this up, right? Like, can we make this, or do we just full save? Do we just save 3? If we don't get a pick here as the smokes fade, do we just pull the plug?
They're going for it. Molotov not really landing. Flashbangs neither, but the bullets certainly are. Benzene tucked away in a corner. Cleared very effectively, and as Twinkie gets on the bomb, the defuse will come in. And Victoria Summit eliminated at the first stage of play, as you are now progressed through to the second round of the ESL Pro League Season 22 Asian Closed Qualifier.
Yeah, and they did it in, look, let's just say heart-stopping fashion.